to Ethena's Rapid Fire Takes on Ethics and Compliance Issues. Our guest today is Tom Bubeck, the CEO of Ethisphere. And Ethisphere, for those that don't know, is the global leader in advancing standards of ethical business practices, which strengthen corporate brands, build trust in the workplace, and deliver business success, as we'll hear. Ethisphere is also the sponsor of the World's Most Ethical Company designation. And Tom has been active as a CEO and executive in the ethics and compliance area for more than 10 years, and he brings a wealth of insight to the podcast. Welcome, Tom.
Thanks so much for having me, Susan. Looking forward to our discussion today. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. So ready for some rapid fire responses? You can answer true, false, or maybe.
Perfect. Let's do it.
All right. There's a widespread perception that a company is either a mercenary or a missionary. In other words, that a strong ethical commitment limits business. True? False?
False, Susan. Absolutely false. It's one of my favorite topics. Good ethics is good business. Ethisphere's comparison of the financial performance of our world's most ethical companies and their peers shows that the world's most ethical companies outperform the market by nearly 8% over the last 5 years.
Wow. All right, number 2. The criteria for world's most ethical company evaluation is very US and European centric and doesn't take into account the way business is done in other cultures.
False, Susan. A material number of our honorees are outside of those jurisdictions, and our review teams do consider where companies are from during the review process.
I look forward to unpacking that. And then 3, despite COVID, global conflicts, economic surprises, and political controversies, we continue to see a strong commitment in the business community to high ethical standards and values.
That's absolutely true, Susan. Earlier this year, we held our Global Ethics Summit, and we had an incredible attendance. 2,000 registrants, nearly 1,600 attendees, and we're looking forward to an even bigger event next year.
Fantastic. Well, let's dive in. Let's talk about the ethics premium and advantage that you don't have to be a mercenary to make money.
Yeah, I mean, certainly this is a topic I think about a lot. Even for me personally, when I was trying to figure out where I wanted to go 10 years ago in my career, and joining an ethics and compliance company back then was really important to me because you can have a great business and at the same time stay true to your values, be ethical, and put integrity first. And the companies that we honor in the world's most ethical companies designation, they exemplify that, right? Companies that do the right thing, it turns out to be actually really good business for them. So it seems to us it's a no-brainer. 8% performance, that's pretty darn good, right?
That's great.
Yeah, right. It's an exciting thing for folks to focus on. And if you do things the right way, your business will do well at the same time.
Yeah, and I like the fact that you can actually measure that, and that Ethisphere has been measuring it over a long period of time. I think that really helps drive the case. Let's also talk about the other kind of perception that still lurks out there that somehow the focus that you have and other ethical institutions have is parochial in the sense that it's US-centric or European-centric. Can you talk to me about that a bit?
Yeah, I understand the comment, and as I noted, we absolutely have a material number of honorees that are outside of the U.S. and Europe, and our reviewers do consider where companies are from when doing the review process. And if you look at it, we don't use the U.S. guidelines because they're U.S. It's because they've been around a long time and they're very well established. So the organizational sentencing guidelines have been in place since the 90s, and they've provided a model that other regulators could follow. So we're not choosing, again, the US standard, but we're choosing the well-established standard that other companies have used. And importantly, if you think about global enterprises, right, they build their ethics and compliance programs that generally seek to comply by the highest standards that they can find globally. And for some things, that is the US. For others, it's the EU. And for others, that's APAC. And they really try to focus on all of the strongest measures that they can bring to bear. But certainly the US has been at the forefront of defining what good looks like when it comes to ethics and compliance. But there are many other jurisdictions that organizations look to when trying to achieve excellence in ethics and compliance.
Well put. And I was just reading the Serious Fraud Office new guidelines that came out, and they actually reference the Department of Justice guidance, the evaluation of corporate compliance programs. And so there has been, I think, a convergence on what good looks like. Well, let's dive into the last topic, which is despite the challenges in all the various areas that we see around us, companies seem to be really staying the course when it comes to ethics and compliance. Can you comment on that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's similar to your prior comment about the Serious Fraud Office, right? When one regulatory body changes their priorities, another global regulatory office may very well increase or change their priorities. So if you're playing as a corporation in the global market, you need to be cognizant of all of the regimes that you're facing. And because there's that sharing of best practices among each of the different regimes, you continue to get the need to comply at a high level. But importantly, beyond having to comply because it's the law or a regulation, the best organizations know that good ethics and having good business integrity is so important to drive your business in so many different ways. For example, right, employees, right, want to join and be a part of companies that live their values and have high standards, right? Customers, vendors, suppliers, they prefer to work with organizations that live by their values, that live by high standards. There's a certainty to it. There's a comfort to it. It's both actually a business rationale for the vendors and suppliers who realize this is a company that stands by what they do and we can trust doing business with them. And for customers, that's true. But customers are smart and savvy, and they want to align themselves with companies that stand for something and do something right. They feel that that's a way for them to have an impact on the world. Even if it's a little bit small, it says something. And when you take hundreds of thousands, millions of people who all believe that values matter, it can impact the quality of a business and the trajectory of a business. So corporations know it's not just about complying with regulations, which are really important. It's about those other constituencies that help drive good business.
Again, very well put. And going back a ways, I remember at our prior employer, when I had the pleasure of being your colleague, I was doing a lot of research on best practices, and we found that during COVID and after COVID, ethics and compliance got even stronger and really played a key role in helping companies get through that crisis in a good way. So, Tom, thank you very much for coming on the podcast. And we really appreciate at Ethena the work that Ethisphere does in driving global business practices. I hope you'll come back again and speak with us.
Absolutely, it'd be my pleasure. And Ethena, I've loved Ethena from afar before I even joined Ethisphere. I was at another company and was admiring what they were doing. So I'm excited to be working with you and Ethena. So thank you very much, Susan. I appreciate you having me.